Hi, we're Kickresume, and you're a data analyst looking for a reliable resume guide. And so we finally found each other. Yay! Let's get straight to the point. Step 1. Resume tailoring. Tailoring basically means you need to cater to the needs of the employer and show them that you can solve their problems. That is the entire point of a resume. You need to focus on the things that matter for this particular job instead of listing everything you've ever done. And the best guide for that is the job ad itself. It tells you which skills they need, what tools they use, what kind of experience they care about, and what problems they need solved. Keep this in mind as we move into the specific resume sections. Step 2. Resume summary. The summary is a short paragraph at the top of your resume, and it matters because recruiters don't usually read every resume in detail. They scan them quickly, so the summary works as a kind of taste test. It should distill the most important and key points of your experience into just a few lines. Here's what you don't want to do. This is basically the most generic thing a data analyst can put on their resume. It doesn't really say anything that would make recruiters want to learn more about you. Now, here's a better example. This one actually tells us something. We know the role, the years of experience, the tools, the certificate, we know the type of work, and we get a quantifiable accomplishment too. That's all your resume summary needs to do. Step 3. Work experience section. This section should go from your latest job working backwards. And under each job, use bullet points. Usually the older the job, the fewer the bullet points needed. Your latest and most relevant roles should get the most space. Older jobs don't need as much detail, especially if they're less relevant. Now, when it comes to the bullet points themselves, there are a few things to keep in mind. Start with action verbs. Focus on the impact you've had, not just what you did day to day. Use quantifiable data anywhere you can. And mention context, meaning what tools you used and what skills were involved. Here's what a bullet point list describing your past jobs shouldn't look like. Again, this example is pretty vague. Anyone could write it. Now compare it to this. This is much stronger. We get an action verb, we know what kind of data they worked with, we know the tools, the context, and we know the result. Here's another example. Instead of writing something like this, you can write this. And one more thing, the stuff that's mentioned in the job ad should go to the front. So if the job ad talks a lot about SQL, dashboarding, forecasting, or stakeholder communication, those should show up first in your bullet points, not buried somewhere near the bottom. Put the relevant things first. Step 4. The skills section. The skills section is pretty straightforward, but it deserves a few words. Here, it helps to know the difference between hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are your technical skills, things like SQL, Python, R, Tableau, Power BI, data visualization, statistical analysis, data cleaning, forecasting, and so on. Soft skills are things like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, stakeholder management, or attention to detail. And instead of putting everything into one long messy list, it's better to organize your skills into subcategories so the section is easier to navigate. Here's what a well-organized skills section can look like on a data analyst resume. Step 5. The education section. There are basically two ways of dealing with it. The first is the basic education entry, which means just the name of the institution, your degree, and the years of study. A simple education entry is really that simple. Just look at the example on the screen. And this is enough if your professional experience is substantial and strong enough to carry your resume on its own. If you're an experienced professional, employers might care more about your impact and accomplishments than your education. They mostly just want to see that you have one. The second option is the detailed version. Besides the basics, this can include things like relevant coursework, dissertation projects, GPA, extracurricular activities, school projects, merit-based scholarship, club membership, and things like that. Peep at this example. Everything here is relevant to the role and skills of a data analyst, even the extracurriculars and club membership. As we've said at the beginning of this guide, every bit of info you put on your resume has to support your application. It's better to go a bit harder on your education section if you're a fresh graduate or a career changer. If your professional experience isn't enough to back up your qualification, your education needs to do a bit more for your resume than just exist. And there's one more option here. If your formal education was in an unrelated field and you pivoted to data analysis later in your career, it's completely okay to include courses and certifications under your education section too. That can help explain the transition and show where your data skills came from. Step 6. Additional sections. Your resume is good to go, but if you still have a little bit more information to share, you can think about adding optional sections. Just keep one thing in mind. Every word you put on your resume needs to earn its place. If a piece of information does nothing to support your candidacy and all it does is take up space on your CV, then just drop it. For data analysts, useful option sections can usually include projects, awards, accomplishments, certificates, and if you don't already, have them put under education, publications, or maybe even conferences if they're relevant. Projects can be especially useful as proof of your skills. For example, if you built a dashboard, analyzed a public data set, created a forecasting model, worked on an A/B testing project, or did an interesting mock or side project, that can absolutely help your resume. The same goes for certifications. If they're relevant and help support your fit for the role, include them. If they don't support your candidacy, they don't need to be there. And that's it. That's how to write a strong data analyst resume. Well, no, that's not actually everything. Whenever you need to write a resume, you also need to think about picking the right resume format and making your resume ATS friendly. Both of these play a pretty significant role in how your resume is received, but we've already covered both of these topics in great detail in our previous videos, so make sure you check them out. And speaking of checking things out, you should also visit Kickresume.com and browse through our resume database courtesy of our users. Just enter Data Analyst into the search bar and take a look at real resume samples, including those that actually got hired. And that'll be all from us today. See you in the next tutorial.